Hello and welcome. We are going to get started in 1 minute. All right, welcome for those of you just joining us. We're going to just get started in another minute. All right, I just put a couple links in the chat. I'll continue to do that. Let's start from the chat. Alrighty, we will go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Denisha Jones, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Executive Director of Defending the Early Years. Trying to make sure you can see my T-shirt. It's new. We got some new gear. There it is. Okay. If you can't hear me, please let me know. This is a webinar. You can comment in the chat or something. Also, feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Share your name, where you're from, your pronouns. I go by she, her, and Aya, and yeah, I've been the executive director since 2022 in this position, and so really excited to share this work with you today. So we released our new toolkit today. I just put the links. The first one's to the toolkit, and it's also on our website, which I'll show you towards the end. And then the second one is for our reflective practitioner series, if you're interested in subscribing, because we have a new course on the toolkit that's starting with this webinar. So our toolkit is called Linking High Quality to Child Development and Advocacy Toolkit. And so this toolkit was created to support our campaign in defense of early childhood education and care, restoring the link between high quality and child development. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the campaign, a little bit about what we did since we launched the campaign, and then I'll take you in through the toolkit, go through some of the different aspects of it, and then talk about where you can find it. And then, of course, be options for Q&A in a chat. If you're interested, there's a Q&A function. You can put questions there. You can also probably put questions in the chat. I'm going to share those links again for anyone who joined late. And again, if you are having any trouble hearing me, please just put it in the chat. Yeah, that's the only way you can let me know. You should be able to chat with me, but yeah, or put it in the Q&A, I guess. Can't. Just check that. There's nothing there now, so we'll go back and get started. Okay, oops, too fast. Gotta go back. There we go. Okay, so we launched this campaign. So this was, I think, the end of 2022, I believe, or 2023, early 2023 when we launched. So we were really, it was around the time that the work came out from from Vanderbilt, from the college and the Tennessee pre-K work, Tennessee pre-K study. So if you're not familiar with that, I'll tell you briefly about it. But it was about that time we were preparing a presentation myself, Keisha Reed, who at the time, she still is our podcast host for the DEY podcast, and also Dale Farron, who is one of the researchers at Vanderbilt who did the work on the pre-K study. And so Dale had reached out to us and said, I wrote this blog about pre-K study that we did, and we'd like to share the blog. And so we have the blog up on our website, where she was trying to explain, using this idea of developmental competencies, why the research out of Tennessee was so disappointing. So what did this research say? If you're not familiar with this, in Tennessee, they had expanded the universal pre-K program, but they didn't have enough slots for everyone. So that meant that they had two groups of kids who got into the pre-K program and would be going to pre-K 4, and kids who did not. And so because they had these two groups already determined, they were able to do a randomized control study, which is a really important type of study, but it's also hard to do, right? But it just happened that they had both groups, and so they could follow and track both groups throughout, right? So those who got in and spent a year in pre-K before going to kindergarten, academic pre-K, and then those who did not. And those who did not were primarily home in the care of a family and kin, right? They weren't in any other type of preschool program, right? So they started to track them and looking at their different achievements and development. At the end of the kindergarten year, or at the end of the pre-K year, of course, those who were in the academic pre-K were doing better on a lot of skills, pre-readiness skills for kindergarten. But then by the end of kindergarten, those who were not in the program all had already caught up. So all of the gains that the children who went to the academic preschool had made in that year were gone by the end of the kindergarten year. But then they kept doing the research because they were able to track this over time. Then you get to third grade and you look at the two groups again, and it's actually worse now for the kids who did go to the academic preschool, right? So they were the academic university pre-K. They were behind in a host of academic areas. And then by sixth grade, they were also behind the group who didn't go in academic areas. They also were having more challenges, behavioral issues, suspensions, and things of that sort. So this was really surprising when it came out to a lot of people, not to those of us who understand early childhood, because people thought, oh, an extra year of pre-K would make things better. And we're totally for universal pre-K. But what Dale explained in her blog and what she explained in her presentation at NACCE that year was that the focus of an academic preschool is the problem, right? Tennessee invested in a universal pre-K, and that pre-K program was very academic. So it was focused on letters and numbers, and not a lot of time play and exploration. And so she talks about, oh, yes, on the surface, those activities are going to build surface skills, which show up when you do a readiness assessment. But the bottom skills, the underlying foundational skills, are not best developed in young children through academic skills, right? They're best developed through exploration, through projects, play, right? And so she was arguing that that is kind of the reason why we're seeing what we're seeing. We need to stop focusing on academic pre-K. So we were all excited when this research came out because we've been promoting this for a long time. And so Dale agreed to present with us at NACCE. And it was during that presentation where we were talking about her research. Keisha was sharing her program and how she runs a program and how she thinks about quality in terms of fostering, right, children's natural development. And then I also talked about the work that we're doing. And so that's how this campaign came together. So we wanted to really provide information and support for early childhood educators, advocates, and parents, to this idea that high quality must be linked with what we know about child development. Because often what's being called high quality has no basis in child development, right? So it's just a lot of things people are being asked to do because people think it's high quality, but when you ask them, well, where did you get that from? Where the research? It's not there. It's not supported by the research, right? And we have a lot of research on child development, and so that's what we set out to do with this campaign. So we wrote out a campaign statement, which is also on our website, and we had endorsed about 175 folks endorsed the campaign to date, and so that's also on our webpage. We held a town hall where we were listening to people. People signed up to share and talk about their thoughts about high quality and child development. And then we also conducted some research because last year, our Summer Institute, the theme was on quality. So I conducted several focus groups and interviews and survey data. So I just want to share with you some of what we selected, right? So here are some quotes from the research. We asked folks, how do they define quality? And so these were pretty much early childhood educators in this group, and they're different definition of qualities. Okay. So a lot of play came up a lot, right? Play-based, emphasis on the whole child, pre-academic, screen-free, quality caregivers, right? So the focus is on that pre-academic skills, not the teaching the reading and the literacy and the things like that, writing and pre-development skills at need to focus on. We also got, it's a program where after safety in place, children are allowed to explore, have meaningful conversations and interactions with their peers and teachers. It's a place that educators have intentionally prepared the environment, which is conducive for their emotionally and cognitively. Let's see. A play-based program with an established daily rhythm guided by nurturing and caring adults. The rhythm provides both child-led play, teacher-led, circle snacked, story, rest activities, while supporting every child in developing self-care and physical and emotional skills as part of each child's developmental trajectory. Another person shared, it's a program where after safety is in place. Oh, I think our we'll jump here. A program that puts the child's self-determined play at the forefront of its pedagogy, practice, and learning. Teachers are attentive, responsive, and show interest in child's play and the child's own perspective on their play. Teachers communicate regularly with the family about the child's experiences, but not at the expense of having time to adequately plan and prepare. So a lot of what our statement had already said was included, right? A lot about play, a lot about good relationships with caregivers who know how to, support children's needs, really having children having the opportunity to explore, to learn at their own pace, right? That was a lot. And so there was a lot more. We had hundreds of responses today. I just wanted to highlight a few there. Next, we also asked people what were some concerns that they felt about quality in early childhood. So we heard about unrealistic expectations coming from tech titans and reformers, which have transferred to parents that kids should be sitting at a desk and tables for too long period of time, sitting at personal screens at all, and reading by the end of kindergarten. Ridiculous and cruel. Right? So we heard these concerns as well. Another person said, I'm concerned about the quality of curriculum programs that schools have adopted that I don't believe teach children appropriately. They're too scripted, not enough child-centered play and decision making. Right? See that a lot as well. Another person shared, my biggest concern is that the people involved in deciding what quality is are not educated in early childhood education, not worked in the classroom, or truly understand what it is that young children need. Also, that the people deciding are not currently on the ground and in a class. Right? So, yes, people not knowing about child development, not having information. Someone else shared, I have concerns that quality is often determined by how much EC settings look like school, that family childcare is being devalued and erased, and that practitioner practice focus more on preparing people to create schoolish spaces than on an understanding development in all domains, right? And so this idea that as we expand universal pre-K, it's all happening in public school settings, and we're losing, right, the early childhood slavery, what keeps young children, what they need, what keeps them in the childhood space. And lastly, someone said teachers who are unprepared in key early education and brain research knowledge and skills, and the low compensation of teachers does support highly qualified teachers. So the turnover in teaching staff is a problem for teacher-child connection. So again, teachers are unprepared, underpaid, and you can't recruit them into the early childhood field. And so that's too. So again, we weren't surprised by this, but we wanted to keep it in the forefront of our mind as we decided what to do next. So in our statement, the original campaign statement, we wrote what we know about child development, 10 things that we just believe about child development, right? Children are naturally curious and have an innate desire to learn about this, right? And so we know this, we believe this, and we want to see this as part of what it means to be high quality. Children are active learners who construct knowledge through hands-on experience. So the original statement, number 3, said children learn through play, but in the toolkit, if you've seen it, and I will drop the link one more time in the chat because I think somebody else came after. I changed that statement a little bit. I was going back and forth. We were getting a lot of feedback from different folks, and I heard from some people, oh, children learn through play. It's not the best statement. So now it says in the new toolkit, children need ample time and space to play, to engage in free play. I think that's the thing. So it's still about play, but we decided to change the language. Children need environments that foster positive and healthy identity development. Children need ample opportunities to move their bodies and use their voices. Children need caring and nurturing relationships with adults. Children need agency over their learning. Children need ample time outdoors. Children need opportunities to develop self-control, self-regulation, and executive function. Children need space to fail and struggle so they can learn to persist and try again. So these are just basic statements we just kind of put out there that we felt like 99.5% of the still agree with, and things that we know from our time in childhood. So we decided to then create a toolkit using these statements. an advocacy toolkit because most importantly, we want you to be out there advocating all the time for all of these things and other things that you know are the mark of a high quality child development program, but often you're not allowed to do or you don't see happening because a lot of policies and rules, right, that don't support high quality. So that's what the toolkit is offering. And so how did we set this up? So it's each statement, 10 statements, each statement has 3 pages. And so the first page is like some clear messaging that we want to share with you. We first start with a what we believe statement. And so this is just a short statement of what we believe about each of those 10 statements. Then we give you a little bit about why it's important. And again, this is jargon-free, quick language, talking points in case you're advocating to an elected official, but still conversations you can be having, right? Other parents, other teachers, directors, administrators of preschool program, and then even, yes, elected officials, right? And so you have the what we believe, why it's important. Then on that same page, we put together just some kind of like descriptions, right? And what does it look like? What does it look like when we get it right? So there's a couple, three there, different ways that that statement, right? So what does it look like when we get it right for children? Curious, right? And then what it feels like when we get it wrong, right? What are some things that we are hearing about, seeing that teachers are doing or being forced to do? Excuse me, that doesn't align with what we know about child development. So here's a couple of examples of the pages. So for number one, children are naturally curious and have the innate desire to learn about the world. So we believe that children are born with a natural curiosity and intrinsic motivation to explore and understand the world around them. This innate desire to learn drives their questions, observations, and discoveries, forming the foundation for lifelong. Right? So nice simple statement. Then let's see, for number 5, which is children need ample opportunities to move their bodies and voices. Why this is important, providing opportunities for children to move their bodies and use their voice is vital in early childhood education settings because it supports whole child development. Movement helps build motor skills, body awareness, and brain development, while vocal expression fosters language, communication, and these forms of expression are how young children explore, process emotions, and connect with others. Without space to move and speak freely, children may struggle to engage, regulate themselves, feel, making this a core component of a meaningful. So just a little bit more information that you can share about this. And then lastly, what does it look like when we get it right? And what does it feel like when we get it wrong? And so for number 10, children need space to fail and struggle so they can be consistent. Again, so when we get it right, an educator is observing a child trying to build its tower that keeps falling. Instead of fixing it, the adult offers encouragement and asks open-ended questions such as, what do you think would help it stay up? Right? So that's just one example there. And then what it feels like when we get it wrong, mistakes are treated with criticism or embarrassment, or children are discouraged from trying again. Children may feel failure, challenges, or give up easily when faced feels difficult. So we just want to provide this information in a quick, easy format. So that's the first page for all 10 statements, something like that. Then we wanted to get into advocacy because this is a support for advocacy, because this is an advocacy toolkit. So one page for each statement has 5 advocacy strategies. So the first part is like an overall strategy and then suggestions, right? And so what do these look like? So for number 2, children are active learners who construct knowledge through hands-on experience. We have 5 ideas for advocacy: promote learning through play and exploration, advocate for materials and real tools, support project-based and inquiry learning, educate others on how young children learn best, and protect time for deep, undirected engagement. And so those each come with their own overall strategy and suggestions. So if we look at children need caring and nurturing in relationships with adults, one of our strategies is one of our ideas is to promote relationship-based practices. So the strategy there is to encourage programs to center care around strong, consistent adult-child relationships as a core component of early learning. And then we have strategies for that too, suggestions. So like number 9, children need opportunities to develop self-control and self-regulation and function. So one of our advocacy ideas is to support predictable child-centered routines. And so those suggestions include sharing best practices for routines and transitions with school leaders or caregivers, encourage visual schedules and child-led transitions. One of the things I discovered in my research in a play-led program for young children that I thought was super powerful is that they eliminated most transitions. And I thought that was so great because when I observed traditional preschools, a lot of challenging behaviors, as we all know, during transitions. And so what happened if we made it a goal to try and eliminate as many transitions as possible? So mainly the children went all together outside and came back inside. But everything else they were able to do individually. Like they could go to the bathroom when teachers are in the hallway watching. All the kids didn't have to go line up in the bathroom. They had access to their food in the classroom, so they could get their food when they were hungry and snack throughout the day. So it was a lot of that, it made the flow of the day so much more engaging. I lost track of the time because there weren't as many transitions and many issues that you get around transitions. So that's one of the ways that will help children develop self-control, self-regulation, and executive functioning is to really limit some of the transitions, more time on. Those are some examples on the second page of each stage. Lastly, our third page is all about research. So here we put a list of books, articles, organizations, and people, podcasts, and social media that you can click on, right? Everything in the PDFs are clickable, and you can learn more about. So, for example, children need ample time and space to engage in free play every day. Number 3, the rewrite. So we share the book, let the children play for the learning, well-being, and life success of every child, right? Goldberg and William Doyle book. We also share Play and Social Justice, Equity, Advocacy, and Opportunity. It's an edited book by Olga Jarrett and others, and I have a chapter there. We also share the new recently published book by Amanda Morgan, Not Just Cute, How Powerful Play Drives Development in Childhood, which I've been reading, and it's fabulous. So those are the few things we have there. For number 4, children need environments that foster positive, healthy identity development. We have some articles here. We have an article on supporting healthy identity development, excerpt from Place to Begin, working with parents and issues of diversity. We also share Children Are Not Colorblind, How Young Children Learn Race by Erin Winkler. The Cycle of Socialization by Bobby Harrow, which is featured in our framework for fostering healthy identity in the early. So again, lots of articles, some new, some foundational that should help you. Number 7, children need agency over their learning. Some organizations, we put in Reggio Children. We put in Honoring Childhood because they talk a lot about supporting children's autonomy and agency. The Alliance for Self-Directed Education and Project Zero. Now, of course, some of these resources show up in multiple pages because they are just so relevant. But we did our best to kind of spread them around. And then for children need ample time outdoors, some of the people podcasts and social media, the nature preschool community, it's a great Facebook group that I love being a part of. Even though I don't run a nature preschool program, I learned so much from the folks that do. Discovery Natural Learning Center is a private preschool, private early childhood center in Maryland that a friend runs. And so my page is full of lots of great information. So I included a link there. The Highlander School, ATL, if you're not familiar with them, I definitely suggest you follow Instagram, Rusty Keeler on Instagram as well too, and Unearthing Joy and the nature birth learning, really for BIPOC too. So those are just a collection of some of the research. Again, one for each of the states. All right, so where can you find the toolkit? So it's on our website. I hope the links in the chat worked and you were already able to get it. But if you go to our website on the top row, advocacy campaign, and then you click on the campaign name and then another window, quality, development, and advocacy. So you can download the toolkit there, and it's 36 pages. So yes, there are 30 pages, 3 pages for each statement. There's a cover page. There's a letter that I wrote to display the toolkit, and then there's a toolkit overview. That's the 3rd page. And at the end, we re-added the statement. So the last 3 pages are the campaign statement. So what if you want something nice and easy? Well, today I created the web page where all the pages are individual as well too. So once you scroll down the top of the web page, you'll see download individual pages below, and it looks just like this statement. Children are naturally curious and have an innate desire for the world. Then the what we believe, there's an image underneath it, advocacy strategies, image underneath it, and resources. There's an image. So you just click the button and you'll get the pages in way, if you don't have the whole thing, you're going out, you're talking to someone, you want to just get what you need, all the pages are available individually. Yeah, we're hoping that you will download the toolkit and use it in any way that it's helpful for you. If you're teaching, right, you might share it with students, you might have them draft letters. I always had my students do, my pre-service students do a letter writing campaign for advocating, writing to elected officials. You could even take some of this information and write a an opinion statement and in a newsletter, an op-ed. Op-eds are great, and if you can add personal information about your own experience around these things, that's a really grateful way to a really great way to advocate as well too. Personal stories mixed in with information. It's like the best to engage in advocacy. And even just sharing the resources. If you have a parent not understanding why the kids are just playing all day, and share them the information, share them the statement, let them know the resources, right, so they can download it. And if you really want to get into a deeper dive, really want to spend some time about going over some advocacy skills, we have our new course and our reflective practitioner series. So we also launched that about a year ago, and the series subscription based. So we do $25 a month to join the community. And then we offer different courses. So we did one with Keitha Marks, first one, and that was a really great course. And you'll get access to everything if you join now. Our second one was on the framework, on the healthy identity, fostering healthy identity, and I led that one. We have recordings, reflective workbooks. And so our new course that's starting with this webinar will continue on until September is reflective, is in defense of quality, a reflective course on advocating for child education and care. So in this course, we're using a toolkit to talk about practical strategies for aligning care, education, and development. So each month there'll be pre-recorded videos for the different topics. So in June, we're looking at curiosity, active learning, and play. And so I'll make pre-recorded videos that you can access anytime and anywhere. There'll also be reflective workbooks with reflective questions for you to go deep and maybe start writing that information, like what's the story that you can share about advocacy. We'll talk about the strategies because that's the whole point, learn how to amplify your voice. And then I'll also hold a monthly live Zoom discussion if you're subscribed to just come and anything around those topics that you want to do. So you'll see June, July's topics are uh, 4, 5, and 6, identity relationships. August is agency and nature outdoors, and then September we with executive functioning and productive structure. So yeah, and you can scan the QR code in the middle there, and that'll bring you to the link to the Patreon where you can subscribe to our reflective practitioner series and join our community of advocates who want to learn more. So that is it for our informational webinar. It's be quick. Hopefully, I got to everything that you I went through the toolkit sufficiently for you. If you do have any questions, you can pop them in the Q&A. I can check Q&A questions. So next steps, again, we have the Reflective Practitioner series. We'll be doing that. We'd love to hear about how you're using the toolkit, if you're using the toolkit. Okay, just check the Q&A. I don't see anything there. So my email's here, denishajones@dey.org. Feel free to shoot me an email and let me know how you're using the toolkit, any questions that you might have around it. If there's any issues with the resources, let me know. If the links don't work, something like that. I did check all of them to make sure that they were working before I published it, pages go out. But we'd love to hear how your toolkit, how you like to use this toolkit, and any other resources that we could support you with. And so yeah, I hope that you enjoy this. I will check again to see if there's any questions. You can put them in the chat, the Q&A, and I will happily chat. Oh, we had some introductions. Hi, Rachel. Thanks. Loudest is here from Mexico. Lovely. Oh, yes. Oh, Loudest. Oh my goodness. Please. We definitely would like these translated. We used to have someone who's doing translations for us. They're unable to do it anymore. Something that's super important to us. So I will save this chat. I will get your email. I love any support and getting these translated into Spanish and any other languages. Know of anyone else? And we will, try and find some funds too. We like to great, thank you. That's syllabus. I love it. Foundation syllabus. Yes, yes, yes. And Andrea's liking that too. Awesome. What else do we have? Thank you, Becky. I'm so glad. Marissa. All right. Thank you guys so much. I just read through the chat really quickly, and I'm just going to double check again, but I will I mean, 25 minutes is not bad for timing, but I will stay on, of course, if there are any questions. But if not, I will gladly let you go back to your Thursday evening. It's 7:25 here. All right. Okay. All right, it looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the share and come back this way. Thank you all so much. Recording this was recorded, so we will share the recording with anyone who couldn't make it. And I can't wait to hear how you use the toolkit. Please, please let us know. Thank you so much.